Hello and welcome again to another fun science lesson. It is I, Brett Sieber, interpretive naturalist for the Three Rivers Park District, located at the Lowry Nature Center in the great state of Minnesota, and again in partnership with our friends at Tierney, and talking today about something that Minnesota has more different species of than any other state throughout the entire United States. It is something that I think often people think of as a nighttime animal. However, we're going to learn today that that's not always the case. It is something that people often think of as being super wise and super smart, but we're going to learn that it has adaptations that allow it to be an amazingly successful predator. Today, my friends, it's all about owls. Let's get started. Alright, so to be an owl, and you're like, wait, what happened to Mr. Brett? Don't worry, folks, it is I. To be an owl, you have to have certain things. First and foremost, you're a bird. Now, all birds have very similar body parts. It's just that some of them will look different than others. First off, feathers. Birds are the only group of animals on the planet that have feathers, and they cover their body. They help keep them warm. They help them fly. They give them shape. They also help with camouflage. They help them blend in to their surroundings. Birds have wings. Wings are kind of like your arms. They're wings. Now, just because they have them, and all birds do, doesn't guarantee that they can fly. Can you think of a bird that can't fly? Some of them are really big, they're tall, they run around in Africa. Some of them are ostrich, nice job. Some of them are the ones that are down near the South Pole and they swim in the really cold penguins. You got it, nicely done. But all birds will have wings. All birds will have a tail that they use to balance and they use to steer while they are flying. Now, if you are going to be an owl, and an owl is a type of raptor, a bird of prey, first and foremost, this beak, this sharp, hooked beak that acts like a knife. Birds don't have teeth. They have to have something to pull their food into smaller pieces. You're like, whoa, wait, Mr. Brett. If the bird has a knife, where on earth is its fork? I'll show you. It's right here. Its foot. Big, old, sharp talons on there used for grabbing a hold of its food. And you'll notice its foot is covered with scales. That is something that all birds have too. So if you're a raptor, sharp hooked beak, those talons on your feet, and eyes that see really, really well. Now, as an owl, your eyes not only see well, but they see well in the dark. You're like, all right, Mr. Brett, you've talked wings, you've talked feathers, beak, tail, feet. What on earth are these? Owl's ears. Owl's ears are different than yours and eyes, and we'll talk more about that when we actually meet our owl in a moment. Up next, we're going to talk about what the owls are doing with their ears, which is listening, and sometimes it's listening to each other. Alright, so like most birds, we often don't see them, but we still know they're around because we hear them. I'm going to play you 3 owl calls. 2 of which call Minnesota home, 1 which doesn't, but I'll talk 2 about where they're found. But it's amazing because I think we often hear, what you're going to hear first, I guess, is that very typical owl call, that whoo, that we all have come to know that owls make. First and foremost, here we go, let me play this sound for you. Very, very common great horned owl. And the great horned owl lives really throughout the entire United States. All right, next up, the owl that we're going to meet in just a little bit. An owl that's more in the eastern United States, but a sound that is quite a bit different than that of the great horned owl. A little bit of the who, but not quite. The barred owl. We're going to meet the barred owl in just a moment. And lastly, probably my all-time favorite bird call. Any bird This is an owl that lives in the southern part of the United States, and when you think of owl calls, I think this is the furthest thing from your mind. Are you ready? Here we go. Listen to that. That belongs to the barn owl, like the big red building. Not to be confused with the barred owl. So those are just 3 of many. Now, before we meet our owl, I want to talk a little bit about nighttime versus daytime versus a little bit of in between. All right, so not all owls are nocturnal, meaning that they're out and about and being most active at night. That's not the case. I know that's what we've always learned, but that's not the case. In fact, there are actually a couple other words to describe when owls are active. Go ahead and cue the big time science word alarm. That's right, some big new science words coming right at you, and here they are. I just used one, nocturnal. Some of us are familiar with that word. Nocturnal means you're out and about at nighttime when the moon and the stars are out. However, some owls are like you and I. They're out and most active during the day. The big science word for that is diurnal. The owl we're going to meet in just a moment, she's neither of these. She actually is most active and out and about when the sun is coming up and when the sun is going down, at dawn and at dusk. And one of my all-time favorite science words, she is in fact crepuscular, not nocturnal, nighttime, not diurnal, daytime. As the sun is coming up and the sun is going down, she is crepuscular. Let's go ahead and meet her now. So this is a barred owl. Now, not to be confused with a barn owl, those big red buildings on the farms. No, a barred owl, for the bars or stripes are run side to side along her neck and up and down along her belly. As a barred owl, she is one of just 10 species of owls we have in Minnesota, and really an owl that you can find throughout the United States, and that is because she's not a picky eater. Now, when I say she's not a picky eater, does that mean she eats pizza or hot dogs or hamburgers? No. But do you think she'd eat a mouse? Or do you think she'd eat a squirrel or a rabbit? How about a snake? Other birds? Frogs? Toads? That teeny little lobster-like thing called a crayfish lives down the pond? She'll eat all of that. She calls the forest her home. That is her habitat. In particular, she loves forests near water. Now, as far as a predator, animals that eat other animals, when she's going to find food, she's one of the best because of her tools. Do you see her tools? If you look closely, do you notice all the tools? They're there. Tool number 1, camouflage. She blends in. The dominant pattern behind me, those vertical lines, that's what her feathers are. She blends in. You're not even gonna see her if she's high up in a tree tucked next to it. Tool number 2, her eyesight. As a raptor, bird of prey like the hawks and the eagles, she can see really far away. But as an owl, she can also see really well in the dark. Now, she's not nocturnal. We talked earlier, not all owls are nocturnal, but she still can see really well in the dark. And even without tool number 2, tool number 3, her ears. You're like, Mr. Brett, I don't see her ears at all, right? Let's go to split screen me. Check this out. If you take your 2 pointer fingers, put one on each ear, all right? Now, take your left hand. This is the big left versus right test. Move that left hand up and backwards. Leave that finger there, and move the right hand down and forwards. And leave that finger there. If you are an owl, that's where your ears are located. What that means is you can pinpoint where a sound is coming from no matter where it is. For humans, ears are right across from each other. We hear great in front, we hear great to the side. We don't hear well behind us, above us, below us. She knows where that mouse is on the forest floor without even seeing it. And when she comes to get it, this is all that mouse hears. Silent flight. Owls are amazing animals. They are amazing predators. Absolutely one of my favorites. If you're lucky enough to see one in the wild, pretty cool opportunity. Well, I hope you had fun today. I hope that you learned something new about owls, and I hope that you head out into your neighborhood looking for signs that they might be living there. If you were looking for more information on the Three Rivers Park District, you can visit our website. If you want more to go along with the lesson and the video from today, you can visit Tierney's website. My name is Brett Siebert, and until we see each other again, get outside.